Alright, hello. Um, Hopefully this will work. I've been having trouble with these videos, to be honest. But, essentially, I had tried to combine the Krakow to London flights, which ended up being like 4 or 5, into one. And apparently it was too much for my video editor, because I'm using Microsoft Clipchamp and it's free. So, I think it's time to re-download DaVinci Resolve or something and get into that a little bit, but um, that's a problem for another day, I think. So we're leaving Eastern Europe and headed for Central Europe. First stop is Vienna, which is in Austria, if you didn't know that. And there it is. Pretty. I didn't get really close with a lot of places here, to be honest. I feel like I was once more in a hurry to get places and didn't necessarily think that I knew enough about these places to give a tour or even get close. So it's going to be like this for Vienna and then for Prague too, I guess, which is the next stop. And that should be it down below. The one thing that I remember about Prague when I was living in Europe was that they had these little ceramic dishes with blue ink on them. Little white dishes with blue ink that people like, they'll fight people over, you know? So yeah, once again, just kind of skirting over the surface. We've done this with a lot of places, to be honest, especially in Eastern Europe. The only memory of Prague that I have, because I've never been there, is a movie with Owen Wilson. So, oh wait, was it Mission Impossible in Prague? Like the first one? Wasn't it originally in Prague? I don't remember. But alright, yeah, heading towards the Alps now. We're a little crack of the neck right there, I guess. um, we're heading towards parts that I finally recognize. Yup. Last time we flew over places that I could actually talk about with first-hand experience, we were in Italy. And ever since, it's been a wild guess and some research. Plus tons and tons of cult references and stuff, such like that. We're in Bavaria. Actually, I don't know if we're in Bavaria yet. Because I think Chiemsee is technically the southeastern corner of Bavaria. So we might not be there. But we're getting close. That's Salzburg to the left in those valleys. Way back there. That lake right there is Chiemsee. My mom had some groups she was a part of when we were living in Germany. And they let us stay at this really, really, really nice cottage near Chiemsee. We went on a couple tours, and some of them were like to these actual places here. Yeah, this is Chiemsee. There's two major islands in the Chiemsee. The first one's right there on the right. Okay, keep looking left, that's cool, while I'm talking. The tiny one's Frauen Chiemsee, which I believe is a convent. And then the big one here is Herren Chiemsee. And Mad King Ludwig wanted to recreate the Palace of Versailles, I believe, and never quite finished it. It's like half done. So when you go there, like one part of the palace is completely finished, and the other half is in a state of disarray. Still to this day, because he never finished it. But it's like supposed to be a complete copy from one side to the other. I don't know. Here we are over Munich. I haven't been here in quite a while. The only parts of Munich that I really like paid attention to were on the southwest side. Okay, by the way, I knew these places first by their German names, so they're all going to be written in German. There's only a couple of them that have like English names because of their infamous nature. So, anyway, don't be alarmed if I say something that's different. Yeah, there's the foothills of the Alps, leading into the actual Alps. It's a rock throw away from Munich, but if you're ever in Munich, do not neglect to go to this place. It is spectacular. It's strange too because when you actually go here, it doesn't look like this. At least it doesn't feel like it looks like this, like the terrain, I mean. But there it is, Neuschwanstein. Which I actually knew from Chitty Chitty Bang Bang beforehand. But if you go up into the hills behind the castle, there's actually a huge bridge that crosses the chasm. And it's very picturesque. I think most of the pictures that are taken of Neuschwanstein against the valley are done from that bridge. Unless it's no longer there, I don't know. Alright, here we are. Once again, punching through the mountains. You can't help yourself when you're in the Alps. It's required. We're heading off to Liechtenstein, which is a small nation all to itself, nestled between Switzerland and Austria and Germany. Maybe it's France too, I can't remember. I think France might... No. I don't remember. I'll have to look it up. You should look it up too. It's more fun that way. It's not a big country. And like, this is it. It's in this valley. I believe the river is the border on the west side. The major city is called Vaduz, I think. Vaduz. Vaduz? I don't know. I don't remember how it's pronounced, but it should be right there. At the foothill of the mountain. Or why do I keep saying foothill? It's the edge of the mountain. The foot of the mountain. I like flying around here in small aircraft too. Like a helicopter. There's a couple helipads in this place. Not necessarily in Liechtenstein, but like in the Alps. So when you're flying in a helicopter, you have to take it through the valleys and such. It's a lot of fun. There is an appeal, to actually flying slow through this place as opposed to a lot of other places. There's Zurich. Once again, bird's eye view. I actually ended up passing it on accident because I wasn't paying attention. so that's why the big loop on the map. And then we are off to Geneva. Which at some point during this flight, this was the, I think this was the end of the first video that I had done for this series of flights. This is Lake Lemont. Am I correct about that? It's been a while. That giant red circle is CERN. The center is the actual facility, but the circle around the center is the actual the particle accelerator. So I put it on the map because I really wanted to see like how big it is and if I could see it. But I think some of it's underground, maybe even all of it. It would make sense if it was underground, though, to be honest, because there's less of a chance of interference from, you know, radiation from space and electromagnetic interference from radio waves and aircraft going overhead and such, and cars too, I guess. So, harder to do science in the open. I tried to land once. I think this is my first attempt here. But forgetting that every single time I try to fly into a busy airport that there's most likely aircraft coming in and going out, that I basically ended up almost hitting somebody and decided to try again with actual ATC, which I don't really like to do in this series specifically because that's not the point, but I don't know, it always feels a bit pointless, to be honest. Not because I don't like doing it, but just because it's not really the point. Like I said, this is definitely the landing attempt that I made. Look at the runway, and I'm like, oh, there's definitely someone there. Yeah, so I peeled off and then called tower. Why not? And one of the benefits also using ATC in this game, if you actually decide to do it, is that you usually get precedence. The actual like traffic laws, I guess, traffic procedures or whatever for incoming aircraft, it's usually too packed. Like the tower doesn't necessarily have the skills to keep them far enough away from each other, especially when you're like so fast. So you get stuff like this where someone could be on the runway and another aircraft basically runs into them or has to go around. It's not uncommon for me to enter an airport and find, you know, 1 or 2 aircraft constantly doing go-arounds.
Geneva Tower Duncan, 1-1 frequency change.
Here we are, leaving Geneva after a little break. Headed for Mont I don't remember how to pronounce that. the tabletop mountain in France. Let's say that. The rest of this flight is going to be in France. There's a lot of places to visit. Here we are. We're going to skirt around the valley and get a good look at the terrain around here. It's pretty nice. Pretty cool looking. This is actually a part of France that I've never been to. I've been to most of northern and eastern France, but never South France. And here's the tabletop mountain. I've tried to land on it a couple times, I'm not gonna lie. It's a little more difficult than it looks. Definitely something you can't do on the F-16, I'll tell you that much. And off to Bordeaux. It's quite a haul, this flight, actually, surprisingly. I thought, when I was looking to the left there, I thought that I could see the Mediterranean from where I was at. I wish I had known that at 60,000 feet, you can see 300 nautical miles away. Because if I had, I would have been easily capable of knowing whether I could see the Mediterranean from there or not. Here we are, Bordeaux, west coast of France, maybe 20 minutes from the water. Yeah, so was supposed to be down here. I don't know if that's true or not, but I thought I'd just say hello. And we're gonna hook a right and head towards Normandy. Another part of France that I've been to. There's an achievement for flying directly from Bordeaux to Seattle, and I had to do it twice. I'm not gonna lie. The first time was in the A320, and the game crashed halfway through, and I was so mad. And then when the Euro Typhoon came out. The Eurofighter Typhoon came out the first time. I did it, not in VR. None of this was in VR yet. But I did this in, on my Xbox, and it was like 4 hours of flying compared to the 14. So I just kind of left it while I was working, because I work from home. And, oh yeah, we're not going to Normandy first. I forgot. We're going to Saint-Michel. But I got it eventually. The first time I did it in the Euro Typhoon, I crashed near Seattle. I was kind of disappointed in that. So I had to do it a third time, and that one ended up being the winner because of the weather over Seattle being a lot calmer the third time. Here's Mont Saint-Michel. I find it so strange that this exists because all the terrain around here is flat. You know, if it was like a tiny little like coral outcrop from the water, cliff sides with everything around it, every coastline around it being exactly the same, that would make sense. But the fact that it's like just smack dab in the middle of water that's surrounded by flat land, it's strange. I wonder if anybody has a reasonable explanation as to why that exists. There's also a tiny Like there on the left, there's another one that's a little bit higher up off the water, but still doesn't answer the question well enough for me. Plus, it looks like trees, and not actually terrain. Now we're headed for Normandy, and I kind of just skirted the countryside here for a little bit. I think there's probably a lot more that I could have gone and visited, but I didn't really want to at the time. This is the American Cemetery. I camped there actually, not in the cemetery, but in the fields behind the parking lot for a Boy Scout troop a long time ago. And we actually flew around a little bit looking for more stuff, and it wasn't until the back flight that I actually saw this. Point du Hoc, there on the left. Left, there we go. Which is a pretty fascinating place to go. I was young when I went there with my brother and sister and mom and dad, and we played tag in and out of the crater holes and the bunkers. Oh yeah, here's Bayou. It's the site of the Bayeux Tapestry from the invasion of England in 1066. It's pretty cool. They love Americans there, supposedly. We got free lunch. And now heading for Paris. I'm kind of disappointed. This was supposed to immediately, like, transition directly into the tour of Paris. But when I tried to, like I said at the beginning of the video, tried to export everything, it wouldn't work, so I had to cut everything into like thirds, duplicate the video twice, and delete certain sections, and I accidentally deleted, with no hope of getting it back, the entire edit for the tour of Paris. So unfortunately I have to go do that again before the next video, which is completely edited. I have to edit and upload the Paris tour before I actually upload the next fully completed edited video. So, kill me. I like flying over the French countryside. It's quite pleasant. At one point, my brother and I took a small aircraft and flew from London to Paris. And it was quite fun, like 2.5 hours of flying. Yeah, we're in Paris. Paris is a lot bigger than you think it's going to be. No matter how many times I come here, it's quite large. I did not enjoy it when I went as a child. You know, a couple pickpocketing situations, night at an embassy and all that stuff. And, you know, basic tourism stuff, I guess. But I think I would like to go back and like explore it a little bit more. If not Paris, then just other parts of France. I'm pretty proud of this landing at Charles de Gaulle. I think that's why I kept it in. Otherwise, it's pretty much over. Thank you guys for watching. You know, keep me in your thoughts while I try to motivate myself to re-edit the tour of Paris. But see you guys later.